Jim, you're on the air.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, I saw a news story last week where your office had put out a press release talking about the results of the way the election was run by your office, and I think they said that you declared victory because no dead people or felons had voted, and therefore it had been a success the way you ran the election. Isn't that setting the bar a little bit low? I mean, we had really long lines. It took, many, many hours in some cases for counties to come in with their results. There was criticism at the time of the election that your office didn't do enough. Are we setting the bar a little low just to say because dead people didn't vote, it was a success?
Well, Jim, that's clearly a mischaracterization. Excuse me. Fact of the matter is we had results of every single race in a very timely fashion. There were no lawsuits, no challenges. The recount of the tied House race in Laurel took place in a manner that was beyond question and dispute. The audit went on to say that there was absolutely no evidence of fraud, that there was no evidence that there was any kind of activity that resulted in an outcome being changed or called into question. We are always looking for ways to improve the way we run elections in Montana, and that'll never stop. But to suggest that we had substantial problems statewide in the election is just simply not accurate, Jim.
Well, it's Brad. Here we go again. The bad news gets the headlines. The good news gets buried 5 pages into the sports section. That's. I read the same thing that he read, but I thought that. But with all the successes in the election, and he said a significant number of hours passed before some of the information came. If that in fact is the case, that's the county's problem. Yeah. It isn't yours.
Well, when Jim characterizes the elections that way, what he's doing, frankly, is impugning the job that the election administrators around this state did, and I will stack our election administrators up against any of them in the country. We've got superb election administrators. They're committed, they're knowledgeable, they work hard, they do a good job, and I'm frankly getting sick and tired of Democrats for political purposes impugning their conduct because they did a good job for us.
Well, these are neighbors of theirs that they're talking about.
That's right.
Let's go to Margie. Margie is calling from Big Timber. Margie, thanks for your call, and you're on the air with Brad Johnson.
Yes, Brad, this business of, we've always said that it's a secret ballot, so I want nobody to know how I'm voting, so I don't want to be registered as a Republican or as a Democrat. I can't imagine having to tell anybody on some list that I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat. And as far as the crossover vote, occasionally in a county, there is a person on the opposite ticket that you think would be so much better than a person for the same office on the ticket you generally vote. Occasionally, in the primary, you'll vote for that person so that they'll be on the ballot in the fall instead of somebody from your own usual party that you don't think is any good whatsoever. And then as far as the remark that he thought that he'd done a good job because no dead people had voted, why, I think compared to some states, I'd say that's just kind of a flippant joke and a heck of a lot more truthful than you would imagine. And on the mail-in absentee ballots that they send out, on the ballot outside envelope of the ballot you send in, you have this date of identity theft and everything else, your signature is on the outside ballot. And I think that is sheer idiocy.
Well, Margie, I'll tell you, you make a couple of good points. As far as that last one is concerned, I would suggest that if you've ever seen them count absentee ballots, they don't really pay much attention to the envelope or anything written on the envelope. They slice it open, they take the ballot out, and the envelope goes right in the trash. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. But Brad, what about her concern about people knowing how she votes? I heard a couple of misconceptions in that, and perhaps you did too.
Well, certainly registering by party doesn't let folks know specifically what candidates you vote for. But beyond that, Margie, the bottom line is there's not even a proposal out there at this point to register by party. We simply were having a philosophical discussion about the pros and the cons of that concept, and I certainly appreciate your concerns, but right now, frankly, in terms of registering by party, you sure don't have much to worry about, because I don't see it going anywhere in the near term.
And we want your ballot to be secret, too.
Absolutely.
That's the whole point of it. Let's go to Ruth calling from St. Ignatius. Hi, Ruth. You're on the air, and thanks for calling back. We lost you a minute ago.
Okay. Hi, Brad.
Hi,
this
Ruth.
Is Ruth from City. How you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine.
Good.
I'm still involved, and always has been for about 30-some years. But my comment and a question to you is, I was a poll watcher on the last election, and I could not believe that people could bring an electric bill in and show it as proof to be able to vote that same day. And nobody knew this individual there, and in a small community, most everybody knows everybody, but there's a lot of new people. So are we going to have the same type of thing? I mean, if people can't take to go and register a month before the election, why are we allowing this kind of thing to go on? And my second comment is, yes, I'm glad we don't declare. I worked against that some years back. And our Lake County elective office is just great. We had one recount call, and there was only one difference in a ballot out of all the ballots, so they stayed the way they were. Okay, I'll let you go and answer my question on that first one that I asked.
Thanks for your call, Ruth.
Thanks for calling in, Ruth. A couple of points I want to make. First is, we worked very hard in this last session to try and get late registration closed on Friday before the election instead of extending that all the way to continuing to extend that all the way to Election Day. Unfortunately, Senator Cooney made it a personal challenge to get that legislation killed in the Senate. It passed out of the House, and he did get it killed in the Senate. I think that was unfortunate, but that's where we're at. The law right now, Ruth, says very specifically that something like a current electric bill is acceptable identification for voting and registration purposes, and until that law is changed, that's going to be the case.
Was there a reason when you were talking about electric bill that you used the word current?
Well, the idea is to show. Geez, David.
I'm sorry.
That was awful.
I'm sorry. I'm against that too, though. I would like to go back to the registering. Heck, go back 2 weeks. Let's compromise. Instead of a month before, let's go back 2 weeks. Because this whole idea is just as Ruth was saying, it does open the door to a little skullduggery, little fraud.
Well, again, I'm pleased to see that the audit suggests that there was no evidence of that.
Yeah.
Would I like to see us move it back from Election Day? I absolutely would. I think it would solve a number of problems. But I do want to say that I have a tremendously high level of confidence in terms of the integrity of the process as it exists in Montana today, and we'll continue to try and improve it. But I don't believe for a minute that we have any substantial problems with regard to the integrity of the process.